Hello, welcome to Politics 8, Season 2, Episode 5, or Series
Hello?
2, I think, whichever way. Anyway, Season 2, Episode 5. It's the post-election one. I don't know what the original plan for this was. I don't know if we were thinking of doing a post-election show the day after or very soon after. I mean, this was originally sort of scheduled in for Tuesday, and then that didn't happen. And then yesterday we both forgot, so we're doing it on the Thursday. So it's a whole week. It's a whole week after, but that does mean that like the sort of all the elections stuff has settled. There's been a few developments. But yeah, so let's get talking about it. It's obviously since the last one, the Conservatives have got a full majority. When the last show ended, it was about 1:30 in the morning, so they were looking like they were going to get a majority. But at that point, we still didn't know.
At the point where we left it, at 1:30 in the morning, Labour had won 100% of the seats. So I think they were 2-0 up. Oh, no, that's not true. That's not true. They were 2-1 up. So they'd won 67% of the seats that had been declared.
Didn't it get to about 8-5 or something, and then the DUP won? Because the thing is, I stayed up for about an hour after we stopped doing the show, so I can't remember when the show ended and when I went to bed and at what point they diverged. So when I went to bed, there was some seats coming in. But to be honest, I can't remember if I said this last time or not in our near 3-hour show, but I genuinely, for some weird reason, I had a feeling that the Conservatives were going to win, but they were going to get like 3-2-2 or like 3-2-1 seats, or maybe even 3-2-3. But then Sinn Féin actually lost a seat somewhere in Northern Ireland, so I don't know if you actually need 3-2-4 now for a mathematical majority because of stuff like that. I just had a feeling they were going to win, but like not quite win, so they were going to go into coalition with like an independent, or you know, maybe you get some really weird coalition like the Conservative Party and the Green and like, I don't know, and Welsh Nationalists, yeah, Plaid Cymru or something. But anyway, so they won, so congratulations to them. So we've got a whole new cabinet with no Liberal Democrats. I mean, I don't think there are any Liberal Democrats left in Parliament.
Yeah, there really aren't that many. There's about, I think, 5 or 6. No, is there 10?
8. There's 8 of them. They went from either 56 or 57 down to 8. So that's pretty bad.
That's abysmal.
Yeah, I think the DUP or the UUP, Democratic Unionist Party or Ulster Unionist Party, have more than them. Combined, they definitely have more than the Liberal Democrats. So but anyway, so we should probably go through the whole cabinet here. So we've got David Cameron as PM. He's sort of the big cheese. George Osborne staying as the Chancellor of the Exchequer.
But he's also going to be the Secretary of State though as well. So he's now the second most powerful person in the country because they don't want to make him Deputy Prime Minister, although he would be Deputy Prime Minister. They made him first Secretary of State, so there's no Deputy Prime Minister. He's just the second most powerful person in the country after David Cameron.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea because obviously having a Deputy Prime Minister was quite convenient, I guess, because Cameron is sort of busy. Like, even if you don't like whoever wins the election, you can't deny that the Prime Minister is normally quite busy. Like that is a politically neutral fact.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
Then we've got Baroness Stowell of Beeston, the leader of the House of Lords. So,
that's not Nottingham, is it?
I don't know, but I mean, obviously she didn't get elected to that position, or did she? Did she get elected from within the Conservative Party? Who knows? Theresa May still Secretary of State for Home Department, like just being Theresa May. Philip Hammond is Secretary of State for Foreign and Commonwealth Affairs. Michael Gove is the Justice Secretary. So he's moved around a bit from education to whatever he messed up after that to justice.
Yeah. He quit as a cabinet minister and then he's now back with a vengeance. It's Michael Gove, Part 2.
Because I'm on the gov.uk website and under Michael Gove it says unpaid. So I don't know whether just not paying him for his entire time in Parliament because he's so bad, or whether that specific government role is an unpaid one. He's kind of like the ultimate internship. I'm just interning in the government.
I love the idea of Michael Gove, like the Prime Minister David Cameron going, you know what, Michael, I think you should be Justice Secretary. Yes, that's a nice cushy job. I'm happy with that. It's unpaid. Really?
Yeah, but you really can't turn down a role in the government.
No.
I mean, he does look like a child, so I can understand why they might think he's 16 and they can get away with some dodgy labour practices.
They should send him back to school.
Yeah, should get a wedgie or something. Michael Fallon is Secretary of State for Defence, which is the American word for defence.
Yep.
Sajid Javid, Secretary of State for Business and Skills. I don't know if he was doing that before. I can't remember.
No, Vince Cable was doing that before.
Oh yeah, Sajid Javid might have been a sort of a deputy in that one.
No, he was Environmental Secretary.
Was it? Oh, I'm exposing my ignorance here. All I know is Sajid Javid does a good job on Question Time. Like he's just he's a good talker, and like he just
Although
looks
apparently
like
we should be watching Question Time tonight.
We probably should, yeah.
Have you not seen Nigel Farage?
Is it? Excellent. That man, I mean, he's definitely the most useful man in politics from our perspective because he gives us a lot to talk about.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Ian Duncan Smith still at work and pensions. Jeremy Hunt doing health. Greg Clark, never heard of this guy. Secretary of State for Communities and Local Government. Sounds like a role that doesn't really mean too much. Nikki Morgan, Secretary of State for Education. Nikki Morgan was definitely education before, and then also Minister for Women and Equalities. So
Great.
She's got quite a big job there. She represents over 50% of the population if she's the Minister for Women. And no other political party represents more than about 36% of the population. So really, she's kind of won the election in a very subtle way.
Nice, I like it. Well done, sir.
Thank you very much. Justin Greening, Secretary of State for International Development, which presumably would have been the easiest job in the world had UKIP won, because your budget would have been slashed to zero and you would have done nothing.
Well, no, because surely that post wouldn't have existed if UKIP had won.
I don't know. I probably, yeah. I'd have taken it up just to be another internship. Amber Rudd MP, Secretary of State for Energy and Climate Change. Patrick McLaughlin, Secretary of State for Transport. David Mundell, Secretary of State for Scotland. Presumably he wasn't elected in Scotland because there are no Scottish
only Conservative Scottish MP. He's the only Conservative Scottish MP.
Did they win one seat?
Yeah, they won one seat, Labour won one seat, and SNP won all the rest of them.
I don't know, didn't the Lib Dems got like the Outer Hebrides or something? I'm sure the Lib Dems won one seat, and I think it was the Outer Hebrides, which, I mean, I can appreciate that because the Outer Hebrides, I've never been, but I imagine it's a slightly different lifestyle to the rest of the UK. It's a very sort of, I don't want to say insular, that sounds a bit offensive, but you know what I mean? Like, if you're living on a tiny island, it's going to be a different thing.
Yeah.
We've got Theresa Villiers, Secretary of State for Northern Ireland. Stephen Crabb, Secretary of State for Wales. John Whittingdale, Culture, Media and Sport. Elizabeth Truss, Environment, Food and Rural Affairs, which I think she was doing beforehand. Chris Grayling, Leader of the House of Commons. Lord President of the Council. I mean, that sounds like the kind of job title that Emperor Palpatine had there, Lord President of the Council.
Yeah.
And Oliver Letwin, Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster. I'm going to have to click on this now.
Well, you want to know who it is?
The Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster is in overall charge of the Cabinet Office.
Yeah.
Right.
By the way, you were right. Orkney and Shetland were won by the Lib Dems, Edinburgh South by Labour, and Dumfriesshire, Clydesdale and Tweeddale were Conservative. They were the only 3 seats not won by the SNP.
Fair enough. Right. Well, good to know that this the guy, the Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster, went to Eton and Trinity College, Cambridge. So he's ticking all the boxes there for government office.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But anyway, now we've done some sort of useful information, I mean, I was a little bit disappointed by the election. I really was hoping we'd get a hung parliament, just so that we'd have much more to talk about on these episodes of the podcast. I feel that now the Conservatives have won, it's fallen a bit flat. That's probably why it's taken us a week to do it, because Conservatives won, and we were like, if we could have done one like 2 days later if we were still in the sort of deal-making stage. But
we could have done it. We could have been. We could have had, you know, like on the BBC Sport website, there's like a football gossip column. We could have been like a gossip column, and we could have been like, oh mate, you heard this rumours Nigel Farage properly battered David Cameron in a speech the other day. So therefore, I don't think the UKIP Conservative coalition is going to go ahead, but they're still negotiating on the EU referendum. It's just, I just love that kind of thing. You know, we could have done that. That would have been great. But now the Conservatives have an overall majority. We just sat there going, yeah, these are the people who are part of the cabinet. They're all Conservatives because obviously they won a majority. So that's, you know, what I like about the fact that's come out of this election is that everybody loves Nicola Sturgeon from the SNP. I don't think there's a single person who voted in this country who doesn't like Nicola Sturgeon. I think she's absolutely quality. She's so much fun to watch on TV, and she seems like a really decent human being as well. I mean, yeah, fine, she wants Scottish nationalism, but you know, everybody's got their own quirks. Yeah, but what I find hilarious is that people in the north of England want us to secede to Scotland. You know, come on, guys, I want to be Scottish, please.
I mean, we should point out that that petition's got about, at the time of doing this, it's got about 6,500 signatures, which isn't exactly a majority, even in the more sparsely populated north of the country rather than the southeast. But like, I mean, the thing is, it's kind of funny, but the kind of the point behind it is basically that obviously, like, the Labour heartlands are in the north. It's just areas that want left-leaning government, and then Middle England appears to want right-leaning government, which is obviously a bit of an issue. Obviously, leading on from that, we've got the whole concept of the Northern Powerhouse. Also, just to return to your thing about the Talk Sport idea, I think it would have been better if we just spread lies, had that been the case. Just like, shock, UKIP and Greens go into coalition. Like, just
both seats are going to start combating the establishment at Westminster. Both the Greens and the UKIPs are fighting it out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how that would happen. Maybe if someone started spreading lies that there was some link between immigration and climate change, then I guess those two would have to become natural allies. But
well, the Greens want to reduce greenhouse gases, and the lorries that bring illegal immigrants over to the UK chuck out greenhouse gases. Therefore, UKIP and the Greens, they got common ground there. They got common ground.
Yeah, that's probably the only thing they have common ground over. But I mean, obviously you could fix that situation by just having the lorries use biodiesel or bioethanol, or battery-powered lorries. But
or just have the immigrants in the back just running.
What, like a giant hamster wheel? I'm not entirely sure that would work, but yeah, top marks for creativity.
Sorry,
but anyway, that's
very right.
Where were we? Yeah, I don't know. It's just the idea of those two working together is just ridiculous. Anyway, where were we? Yeah. So fallout from the election. Farage quit, Clegg quit, Miliband quit, and then Farage unquit. So
basically. Well, what I like this is the UKIP and what they call themselves the UKIP Supreme Council. Which I think, you know, when you think about the Supreme Ayatollah Khomeini, and you got the UKIP Supreme Council, I just think that's quite an ironic name to use for a group of people. It's like he's just lost it. But you know, they decided to.
That's too much. That's absolutely too much.
But they've decided to his resignation, which I don't think he should have just probably said, you know, look, no, guys, I quit. You know, there's no accepting or rejecting my resignation. I quit. That's it. I'm gonna go. But he hasn't, and he's come back like cancer.
Yeah, or a better, less offensive analogy. But the thing is, I genuinely don't know what to make about this, because Clegg and Miliband quitting, I can understand. I do think in a way it's kind of weird that if you don't win an election now, you have to resign as leader. That's the precedent that's been set by Clegg and Miliband. Because I forget who it was, but it was definitely a Labour leader who lost an election, stayed in power, and then won an election. Because at the end of the day, you know, no one's first time's ever that great, so you might as well let them have 2 goes, and then they'll probably do a better job. They last a lot longer in power. But
there have been a few practice runs up until this. I mean, you think between 2010 we've had 2 sets of local elections, we've had 2 sets of European Parliament elections. So we've had at least 4 different elections in the time between 2010 and 2015, and they voted in local elections again this time around. So, you know, it seems.
Yeah, but Jim Murphy didn't quit as Scottish Labour leader. I assume he has a seat in Scottish Parliament. Obviously, he doesn't have one in UK Parliament. Does he not have one in Scottish Parliament? You're shaking your head.
I don't know.
I think I'd assumed he did, but I haven't actually Googled it. But the thing about the Farage one is most people online are saying this is obviously a setup, because he said he would quit his seat if he didn't win. The other 2 never said they would quit if they didn't win, but Farage went on paper saying, if I don't win this seat, I will quit. I read online the other day, I don't know if this is true, but apparently someone's put in a complaint about alleged electoral fraud in the South Barnet districts. I don't know if that is someone who works at UKIP, because I mean, one of the worst things about them as a party is they claim to be like so anti-establishment, and some of the stuff they do is anti-establishment. But then, like UKIP people have tried to get people banned on Twitter and sort of silenced in court for making disparaging comments about them. Like it appears that they're just as bad as other people. So that is one of the worst things they do for a party that claims to be quite libertarian. But I don't know if it is a genuine sort of hoax that he said he would quit and then he hasn't, or if he did want to quit and then, because what the story reads online, but the UKIP High Command, Imperial Court kind of thing, refused to accept his resignation. Now, the only thing I can think of saying in favour of that is in 2010, at the national election, UKIP got 3% of the vote, and in the last 5 years, they've gone from 13 to 13% of the vote, so a 10% jump, and they won the European elections. Obviously, Farage was doing an okay job as leader, but this is what I don't know, because if you're sitting there as UKIP, I mean, I don't know who would be the natural replacement. I mean, people like Suzanne Evans, Stephen Wolfe, Diane James, and that Patrick O'Flynn, those guys and ladies have been on Question Time a bit, and they all seem like reasonable quality orators, and none of them look weird or anything like David Miliband or Michael Gove. They all seem like normal humans.
What about that bloke from Croydon, the bloke who turned up on Newsnight with Evan Davies, and he asked, "Is are UKIP a racist party?" to a black man, and a black man was like, "No, I've been the governor. Yeah, he's not a racist. Yeah, but I don't think he actually answered the question, and that to me is very concerning when someone who's black and sits there is unable to justify that his party isn't racist by just going, "This, look at me, I am black.
Maybe
this party is."
Maybe he's more socially advanced than you are, and he's colourblind, which is what he should be. So maybe that didn't even cross his mind. I mean, that is another thing that's been interesting about the fallout from the election. So we'll have to move on from that Farage point, because I appreciate the general consensus seems to be it has been like a hoax, but I'm inclined to lean towards hoax, but there are some strong arguments in favour of it not being a hoax. Like, undeniably, the party has grown massively in the last 5 years. So I honestly don't know, but I mean, so normally we do give out our opinions on this show, but I actually am struggling to make a definitive call on that one. What do you think? Because I mean, you're probably.
I think he should have just said, "I'm gone." I disagree with his idea of saying that of them rejecting the resignation. I think he should have just stood up and said, no, I resign. There's no going back from this. I'm quitting as leader. For him to say, I think I might run in the next election for a UKIP leader, and then if he were to win that, then I think that's probably a good idea. I think because that shows that the party's loyal following still want him to stay on as leader, and I think that's a very important difference to make. Is that whilst they've had a decision from the hierarchy within UKIP to keep him on, to keep him on board and to keep him as their leader, I still think that it should have gone to a sort of general vote and general ballot, and I think they should have had people contest the ballot as well. And I think he should have resigned, left it at that, and then maybe in September when they were looking to vote in a new leader, thrown his hat in the ring. That's probably where I would have been.
That does make sense. I mean, maybe he should have just been more like a rapper and just finished his speech at South Dunnet and just dropped the mic and just gone off.
Yeah, but they were attached to the lectern. They were attached to the lectern, so he'd have had to pick it up and thrown it off the stage. That wouldn't have been so cool. That wouldn't have been rapper-esque. It would have been posh middle class. I can't say the word because this is a clean show, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but the thing is like, even if he quits as UKIP leader, which he obviously hasn't done, he's still the leader of whatever the European bloc is. I want to say it's the Freedom Bloc, but I could be wrong on that. I'm sure
right-wing nutterists in...
Well, no, it's not, because don't forget, they sit sort of... There's the centre-right parties, and there's the right-wing parties, which is UKIP and others. And then to the right of them, you've got the National Front and all the other... I don't know if there's any neo-Nazis in Parliament at the moment, but people who may or may not have been affiliated with neo-Nazis in the past. You've got... Don't forget, UKIP didn't go into coalition with the National Front bloc, because there's definitely some MEPs of the Front National... There's a lot of Front National ones, and there's National Front members from other parties, which Griffin was in that bloc when he was an MEP. No, I mean, it'd be nice if they're the most right-wing party, but sadly they're not. But he's still the leader of that bloc, so he's quite a busy chap, I'd imagine. Between smoking and drinking, he's got to go to Parliament and basically... just cuss down other people who work there, like Herman Van Rompuy and that.
But the bloc that he's part of, one of the MEPs that was there, I think it was a French MEP or something like that, got caught up in a scandal and had to resign as an MEP. And I think they've got 8 people or 8 seats, and they need 8, or they've got 9. They need a certain number, and they've only just got it, and him resigning meant that they didn't have the number to be considered a bloc, to be considered like a special thing to get all these special extra monies from the European Parliament. So they recruited from Bulgaria or somewhere like that a Holocaust denier.
Poland. It's Poland, yeah. It's the Europe of Freedom and Democracy. That's the name of the bloc. Yeah, they got a single guy from Poland in. Because I think the rules are you have to have members of something like 6 or 7 countries, or you're not allowed to be a bloc. You just have to all sit there separately, which is a bit of a joke. But yeah, it's a weird one. But anyway, we should probably move on from Farage. See, this is what I say. Farage gives us so much to talk about. Like he's the most useful politician. Given that the Conservatives have stitched us up with content for the next couple of weeks by winning.
By the way, I just want to point out before we move on to celebrity gossip that there will not be an election for the Scottish Parliament until next year.
All right, okay. I mean, I don't know how we're going to even pretend to be excited about that one. I mean, basically, the US election will be what we get talking about soon.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Boris Johnson's back in the House of Parliament now, so hopefully he'll do something stupid, and we can talk about that for a few episodes.
Oh, I hope so. I so hope so. I love Boris Johnson so much. He's hilarious. But we're going to move on?
Yeah, let's go on to the celebrity gossip. The often forgotten poorer cousin of the politics chat on this podcast. Something I did read this week Kim Kardashian and Kanye West are going to renew their vows on top of the Eiffel Tower, which sounds like a nice romantic thing to do. And I don't want to criticise because I'm not married, but they didn't get married that long ago.
I know.
Like,
I swear it was like last year or something like that. Or like,
it was, yeah. If you renew your vows on, say, your 10th wedding anniversary, I don't know what it is, or 25th, or even like 50 golden or 60 diamond, like that is, I can get behind that. That's a really nice thing to do. But
I'm with you on that. Oh, I agree. After like a year.
Yeah, this to me sounds like Kim Kardashian is one of those girls who, when they started going out, sort of got annoyed with Kanye that he didn't remember their 1 month anniversary. Like, and basically, she's decided that they're going to renew their vows for their 1 year anniversary on the top of the Eiffel Tower, and Kanye's kind of had to go along with it. He's had to ring up Jay-Z and say, mate, I can't come round, like, I can't come over to play football, like, I've got to go renew the vows.
No, I actually disagree because I can't see Kanye West doing anything for anyone other than himself. So I reckon he's the kind of person who has forgotten his own. You know, he's like turned 35 or whatever this year, and he's forgotten his own 35th birthday. So he's now scolded himself for it, and he has to then go and make amends by renewing his vows with Kim. It's like, no, you done me wrong. You done me wrong. I'll make this right, and he's gonna go and renew his vows with Kim as a result. That's the only conclusion I can draw because I don't think Kim's got an input into this relationship at all. That's not a negative perspective on their relationship at all. No, I just think Kanye West loves himself more than he could ever love another human being. So
two things. One, do you reckon he got annoyed that someone else had the greatest vow renewal of all time, and he wanted to just up it? And two, I don't know why you're apologising. I don't know why you're apologising to Mr. West. I think the only way this show's going to get big is if we start a hip hop beef, and I think Kanye might take the bait. So if we just start,
fucking Kanye West off on air.
Yeah. Do you hear that thing about Kanye West? He does really smelly farts. Yeah.
He also does really rubbish music at the moment. I mean, to be honest with you, I love his earlier stuff, but right now, I mean, the problem is, the guy could like literally rap one word like and over and over and over again, and there are still morons out there who will buy it. And you go and then it's just like.
I'd like to point out, if anyone is listening, if you just want to remix that and send it in, that'll be the show theme tune.
But I honestly think that he could put out a song like that, and it'll be like, and it's the hardest new record from Kanye West.
But not Zane Lowe's anymore. He's quit. He works for Apple now.
I know, it's not cool. It's not cool. He works for Apple.
It was a great Kanye West song. Sorry, the Kanye West song he did with Adam Levine was a cracker. I can't think what it was called now.
Oh, dude, you got to tell me that because I love Maroon 5.
I'm not going to sing it, but the lyrics to the chorus are "Nothing lasts forever but the honest babe."
No, that was that was originally a Maroon 5 track.
Was it Maroon 5 FT Mr. West?
Nothing lasts forever. Yeah, it must have been a Kanye West remix on that one. But yeah, Nothing Lasts Forever is a Maroon 5 track.
Fair enough. That's a great song.
Okay, right, a couple of things which are going to segue into each other for this. I want to move on from Kanye West before we end up getting shot.
Would you suggest we might be gunned down in the Las Vegas Strip?
No, I'm worried I'm going to get gunned down in southeast London. I'm more likely to get shot down here than I am in Las Vegas, that's for damn sure.
Given that you're not planning on going to Las Vegas anytime soon, that is true. I mean, you're also more likely to get gunned down in southeast London than you are in, say, Norway, because you're not going to Norway in the future either.
No, that's very true. That is very true. Okay, a couple of things. First of all, did you hear about the guy in his Audi R8 that was caught speeding? Said that when the prosecution he contested the ticket basically, and the prosecution said he was speeding, and his defence was, well, the equipment used was faulty. I wasn't doing that because if you do over 100 miles an hour, you get an automatic ban. If it's not your first offence, first speeding offence, full stop. So if it's not your first speeding offence, you get an automatic ban for 6 months and points on your licence. Well, points on your licence anyway, but it's a ban. And he was caught doing 103, and he says, no, I was doing 98. It couldn't have been any over. It couldn't have been over 100. He said, your equipment's wrong. So what the prosecution did was hired an airfield, hired an Audi R8, and used exactly the same equipment to do with a digital thing on the R8 to do 103 miles an hour, and used the equipment, and it came up with 103 on the equipment. So it proved him wrong, and I spent just under 11 grand doing this. And because they were right, he has to pay it.
Fair enough. Did they use his R8 or did they use another one?
No, they rented an R8, but that would have been hilarious if they used his R8. It's like,
see,
just to prove you wrong, can we borrow your car for a bit?
I'm sure this guy is probably telling porkies, but yeah. Unless they use his R8, it's kind of a pointless thing, because speedos can overread or underread. I mean, in most cars now, speedo, they actually design them so the speedos overread. If you've ever been in like a really old car from the 60s or 70s, the speedo does bounce around a lot. Yeah. Which is why they used to sort of have I don't know what it is, but they definitely have a margin of error on speed cameras. But yeah, this guy obviously is a complete tool, but they should have used his R8. Otherwise, he might technically still be in the right. I mean, if they do 103 in his car and it actually comes out on the speedo he's only doing 102, like he's still wrong. He does have a point. Also, that Kanye West song was called "Heard M Say."
Okay, well, I'll have to listen to it. But the thing is that even if they were using the speedo on his car, it wasn't a claim that he thought he was doing 98 miles an hour. His claim, stupidly, was that the equipment the police were using was wrong, and therefore they were wrong in catching him for speeding, or thinking that he was doing over 100 miles an hour. He claimed the equipment was wrong, not that his speedo was wrong. If they'd said his speedo was wrong, then he's doing under 100 miles an hour. I mean, in all fairness, he was still speeding. So
yeah, he's still massively speeding. Like basically, if you're going over 80, you're asking for serious trouble. But yeah, that's the thing. If his speedo said he was doing 98 and he was actually doing 102, I don't know how you'd be able to contest that. Because I guess you could argue that he thought he wasn't doing. You would have to admit to speeding, but you could try and get off a 6-month ban, assuming he doesn't have many points. Yeah, it's tricky, but you would be annoyed if your speedo said you were doing 30.
Yeah, that's the annoying thing. If he hadn't told the police they were wrong, then he probably would have managed to get away with it and said my speedo was only reading 98. Blah 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 blah. If he'd said that, then he probably would have been able to get away. But he said no. It's not my my car that's wrong. It's your speedo that's wrong. It's your laser whatever it is that was wrong. But yeah, that's why he's been slapped with this 11 grand fine, which is, I think, fair enough. The guy's got segueing perfectly through to this, one Australian motorist won the Luckiest Guy of the Year award after getting caught by a speed camera in a photo that surfaced online. Police released this perfectly timed image of a bird obscuring a car's license plate mid-flight. So essentially, the man was speeding, had a photo, obviously the flash photograph taken, and over the top of the license plate is a bird flying across the camera.
I saw that photo this morning. It's incredible.
Speeding. It's like the world's most perfectly timed photograph. It's brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, that's better than the revolving number plates thing, really, from James Bond. If you could just have a highly trained bird fly in front of you.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
Anyway.
I couldn't ever imagine managing to do that, but there we go.
Indeed.
Training a bird to fly in front of a speed camera for me. No.
I couldn't train a dog, let alone a bird. Anyway, we must end the show. We must end the show. We've had a good show. We've talked lots of politics. We talked about Kanye West and speed cameras. So the trifecta of how to make great entertainment is all covered there. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again soon.
Bye-bye.